Out the doubt, now me feel so right. By the dip, I'ma rise up high. Me watch the stock them fly through the sky. It's a bull run, so me nah look back. Every tick of the victory, that's the track. Forward that me in the lead. Yet I start, but them can't compete. Me a ride high, nah slow down. Me run the game, me own the town. No limit on the roller coaster. Me break the glass, now me closer. Up on the green, them say. Climb the heights, me feel the sway the day away. Up on the fire under the sky. Gains a flow while them still ask why. We making bang feel with time now. This is the moment the world feel mine. All in, no turn back. We moving fast, take the track. Rocket fuel in my portfolio. Every stock on my next big goal. Me stack the cars like a millionaire. Watch them break, watch them tear. No more red, only the green. Me see my net worth rise clean. Told them once, told them twice. If you ain't in, you pay the price. Futures rise while them still wait. Me moving quick, them second rate. Cash in checks, me bet the big. Every trade I bullet, me wallet fig. Up on the green, them say. Me climb the heights, me feel the sway the day away. Up on the fire in the sky. Gains a flow while them still ask why. We more tin bang feel with time now. This is the moment the world feel mine. All in, no turn back. We moving fast, take the track. Take it. Rocket fuel in my portfolio. We moving fast, take the trim. We moving fast, take the truck. Take the truck. Take the truck. Up on the green, them say. Me climb the heights, me feel the sway the day away. Up on the fire under the sky. Gains a flow while them still ask why. We more Kim bang feel with time now. This is the moment the world feel mine. All in, no turn back. We moving fast, take the track. Bend up.
Oh, brother. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome back to another episode of the Matt Kohrs Show, where I'll be honest with you, I don't want to be here today. I don't want to be doing this at all. I looked outside and I saw it was sunny. I realized I was yearning for a little bit of vitamin D, and instead I am stuck inside with these artificial lights on and closed blinds and a cat slash ferocious kitten who keeps attacking me. And I'm at that point where I'm like really just wondering, what in the world am I doing with my life? That's where I'm at. I don't want to be here. Don't want to be here at all. I want to be outside. I want to go take Piper on a walk outside. I want to go to a zoo. I want to see a cheetah. There's things that we should be doing in our life that we're just not doing right now. We're just watching numbers go up and down on a screen. This can't be good. I need to be outside. I think we're meant to be outside. Is it Friday yet? It feels like it. Well, technically, it's a Friday for traders, not for people who follow the Gregorian calendar. But for traders, it's our Friday. Oh, man. I also, separate thought to the fact that I just want to be outside and I don't know why I'm inside right now. I've also decided trading rules are stupid, and I'm kind of done with them. I don't like it anymore. I feel like that's done. That's played out in the content space. Everyone's like, here's your rules. What's your system? Stick to your rules. Be disciplined. All that bullshit. I'm done with it. I actually literally decided this like 2 minutes ago that I'm just done with it. Done. Rules are dumb. Sometimes you just got to fire from the hip. Sometimes you just got to rip it. Sometimes you just got to, I guess, like, fortune favors the bold. We don't have that saying for no reason. We have the saying because it's accurate. It's right. So I've also decided I'm done with that. Those were the two major developments for me this morning. Is number one, I don't want to do this. I wish I were outside. And number two, I am done with all of my trading rules. They're stupid. I hate them. They're there to protect you, and then even when you follow them like I did yesterday, you still can lose money. So what the fuck's the point? What is the point of that at all? I mean, if I can lose money while following my rules, who cares then? I could easily do that without following my rules. So like, what gives? That makes no sense. So basically, those are the big developments of the day. Another major development, and this will probably have a pretty sizable impact on the market. It's a haircut day for me, which is always an exciting day. So I will be very, like, unfortunately, you guys aren't going to get to see it until next week because of how the whole schedule's lining up. But I'm pretty excited about that. I love haircut days. Haircut days are probably as important as any other holiday in the world. So I just wanted you guys to know that if you see some craziness going on in the market midday, it's most likely because of the real time situation of me getting my hair cut. So those are all the things that you guys probably need to know about. Is I want to be outside. I'm not going to follow any trading rules anymore, and I'm getting my hair cut. So that's where we're at. And that's going to be the show. So I hope you guys are cool with that. I can already sense it's going to be a little bit of a weird show. I don't want to be here. You don't want to be here. We're all just showing up to clock in and clock out. So I guess we're going to attempt to make it as least painful as we can, because we're here just to not get a demerit, to just attendance, I suppose. I really don't know why we're here. I don't know why I'm here. I don't know why you guys are here. I don't know. I don't know fuck about anything, you know? Sometimes you just got to admit that. Cry me a river. Some of us work outside. I wish I worked outside. I think humans were meant to be outside. If your job was exclusively outside, or your job was exclusively like in an office cubicle, outside is better. Like, for sure, without a doubt, no one would ever convince me of otherwise. I don't care if it's incredibly hot. I don't care if it's incredibly cold. I don't care if there's weather or not. That obviously, I'm not saying it's easy. Of course, there can be tough days. I've spent a lot of time myself working outside. I've also spent a lot of time working in an office, in a cubicle, and there's just something about that it like slowly but surely takes your soul. And I feel like being outside in nature doesn't really do that. I'm not saying it's always easy, but something about being inside day in and day out, like just it's stealing little parts of your soul day after day after day. And the only way for me to potentially get it back is to have a little bit of fun. Hence why I'm getting rid of all of my trading rules, because they're stupid. And that's where we're at. That is exactly where we're at. That's how I'm going to get a little bit of a win back in my life, is by taking all my trading rules and yeeting them out a window. And speaking of that, maybe we should do a little bit of prep work for today's trading session. There are some interesting developments. It's OPEX day. It's the monthly OPEX. And remember, all those big, like the monthly, quarterly ones, they expire in the morning. So don't be surprised if right at market open, we see a little bit more craziness than normal, which I know is a tough, like kind of a bold thing to say, because this entire trading environment has been really, really insane. But just because of that, all that expiration, I wouldn't be so surprised. But anyway, S&P 500 futures rise as investors try to claw back losses. United Health drags Dow futures down. UNH, it is the biggest health insurance play in the U.S. They reported this morning, obviously not so good. But let's take a little looky-see at the overall situation. You can see technically the SPY and the Qs in pre-market trading are green, as in we are slightly above the closing value from yesterday. I don't think it's going to last that long. I'll be explaining this to you after we get over some of the drama going on. Basically, Trump is popping off saying he should fire Powell, and Powell sucks, and they're not friends anymore, and they're not going to go to each other's Thanksgiving. But anyway, we're going to get through all that, and then I want to really take a deeper dive into what's going on in options. And basically, here's the TLDR. I am of the opinion, and remember, I have no crystal ball. More importantly than that, I'm not your mom. You can do whatever you want with your money. In all reality, I don't fucking care. But I'm telling you what's going on in the options market. None of it is supportive for the bull case scenario. If you look at the 0 DTE next week, or really the entire chain, all of those are put dominated. And on top of the fact that they're put dominated, after today's expiration in about 20 minutes, there's no real support in the SPX all the way down to about 5,000, 5,100. So the only time I would potentially say, okay, maybe the bulls are gaining the upper hand is if SPX gets above and holds above 5,400. We're currently trading at 5,275. Well, that's technically where we closed yesterday. I suppose early this morning, where are we exactly? Where's the current spot price? We are at 5,289. The only scenario in which I might say, okay, the bulls are gaining some ground is if it goes up 111 points. That's $11 in the spot. That is the only point where I'm like, oh, okay, there's like a bit of a bullish recapture. Dude, she's been so into the show. I feel like she's made an appearance on the past 3 shows. You want to tell them what you're seeing in the option chain? She's actually the one who told me about it. I didn't realize this myself. She's the one who had to do the option chain breakdown and explain to me that there's really nothing going on. As you can see, at 9:30, we're going to be losing the positive gamma at 5,400. We're going to be losing the positive gamma at 5,150. And once again, that is all happening at market open. And then from there, you can see based on the full chain, there's nothing. There's nada. This is a desolate wasteland of no real support. There's a couple nodes forming at the key $100 levels, 5,400, 5,300, 5,200. But other than that, we're really just firing from the hips here, folks. I cannot clarify that enough. And then why we're in no man's land, but why I have a bit of a bearish bias is if you just look at the overall daily trend, lower highs, the lower lows, where momentum and price structure is obviously heading down. So until we're in a situation where the bulls are definitely guilty until proven innocent. And the only thing in this particular trial that would make me say, okay, are the bulls actually innocent here is, once again, a push, a recapture, and a successful hold of 5,400. Until then, I'm just assuming that the bull camp is guilty. And I'm not even necessarily saying that the bear camp is innocent or guilty, but right now they're just sitting in a better position. Right now, structurally, they are being supported a bit better. So I'll go into a further breakdown of that, but I do want to call out some of the major news. Trump lashes out at Powell, says termination cannot come fast enough. Powell had warned Wednesday that the Fed could face a difficult trade-off as tariff raise prices and weaken the economy. So at 1:30 yesterday, we were all paying attention. The market just started to vomit, and it all started to vomit because Powell was kind of being honest, and he was just saying, dude, I've been handed a shit situation. I don't necessarily know how we're going to get out of this. And then obviously that just caused a huge puke. And then the final about 30 minutes, we had a bit of a recovery, which I think is going to be short-lived because we did get some pump ups. If you look here in the 30-minute chart, you can see from about 3:30 to about 3 a.m., we had a nice, obviously linear push to the upside. And some of that was on some trade news, which we got to talk about. But the fact that we're getting somewhat seemingly positive news and yet the market cannot hold that gain, it tells you that's just another, I guess, piece of information as we're putting this puzzle together that things are not so bueno. But anyway, back to what Trump had to say this morning. The ECB, the European Central Bank, is expected to cut interest rates for the 7th time, and yet, quote unquote, too late. Jerome Powell of the Fed, who is always too late and wrong, yesterday issued a report which was another and typical complete mess. Oil prices are down, groceries, even eggs are down, and the USA is getting rich on tariffs. Too late should have lowered interest rates like the ECB long ago, but he should certainly lower them now. Powell's termination cannot come fast enough. Remember, his term is all the way, I want to say, until the May of 2026. So basically a year from now. And we had commentary earlier this week from Besant, the Treasury Secretary, that they're going to start interviewing for the next position basically this fall. But once again, just for those of you who either support Powell, don't support Powell, or maybe you just don't really give a shit, but you're curious how long we're going to have to deal with him, May of 2026 is basically his expected end date. So that is some of the hot drama this morning. There was other hot drama that was a bit more bullish, once again, not holding on. This is from, obviously, the president. A great honor to have just met with the Japanese delegation on trade. Big progress. So seemingly some positive news on, obviously, this trade war, but not the big one. Obviously, that's China, but still positive news nonetheless. I find it concerning that positive news got us a bit of a pump, and we even saw a pump here around 8. But look, we're just not holding. The market does not want to hold any of this. Even we're getting some positive, I guess, narrative updates, if you will. Breaking Trump. I had a very productive meeting with Japan trade representatives Wednesday. Every nation, including China, wants to meet. China's a little bit of a holdout, to be fair here. Trump says big progress made in Japan talks on a tariff deal. Hello. Whoa. Oh, Piper, chill out. This cat, man, she is something else. I caught her just staring at herself in a mirror in like her bathroom with the lights off. Like, I was like, what are you doing? It was kind of like a freaky situation. Anyway, sorry about that. She's losing her mind this morning.
Let's also talk about the Japan one as well, because we've had the talks that have already started. It seems like there's signs of progress, and actually we've just been hearing from Japan's Prime Minister as well, Ishiba, speaking in Tokyo this morning, saying that he will go to the US at the most appropriate time for talks, and also that there were some frank and constructive discussions. But just talk us through what we're hearing so far.
Yeah, I mean, look, Belle, I think that pretty much the entire world is looking at what is going to happen with these US-Japan talks, the outcome here, because this could ultimately kind of be a template for how the U.S.'s other allies in particular can negotiate some of these trade deals. I mean, I think that what the U.S. has said, Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, has said is that one reason why Japan is kind of first to the table here and why they're so keen to make a deal with them is because he says, Japan really kind of was one of the first to raise their hands and say, yes, we want to work with you. I mean, I think, from Japan's perspective, maybe it comes a little bit more along the lines of, well, this is a key ally for us in region, the U.S. and Japan, particularly key military allies in the Asia Pacific, and they were slapped with not just this 24% reciprocal tariff, but they were also really heavily impacted by those 25% auto tariffs, steel and aluminum tariffs, and so I mean, they're walking into this saying, there's a pretty big, hefty, levies that Japan is kind of dealing with here, and so the fact that you've got Trump saying, he attended this meeting on Wednesday, that they're talking through some of these trade negotiations. I think that, whatever ultimately results from this, if they're able to actually accomplish a deal within this 90-day reprieve that they have from those reciprocal tariffs, I think that could potentially, again, kind of form a template for other nations that are particularly close to the United States to say maybe there is a deal here that we can make favorable to us as well. 90 days, do we have a better sense of how realistic a deal would happen? This is the easiest deal to be made if you think about it, right? So do we get one possibly in the next 90 days? I mean, I would think that if, you see kind of maybe the vibes from overnight, this is already, a bit of a vibes-based administration that right now things seem to be kind of on the upswing for Japan. I mean, if you've got Ishiba talking about going to the United States, it seems like his trade negotiator here, Akazawa, this is somebody that went to the United States with actually very little ministerial experience, was actually saying that he found the experience a bit nerve-wracking. But, I mean, if he's able to go to the United States, it seems like they've had something of a promising outcome here. Maybe they do achieve a deal within the next 90 days. But again, David, I mean, I think that what this kind of shows you is that, for the rest of the world watching this, I mean, this is just one deal and a whole host of negotiations that kind of need to happen. I mean, we're talking about a pretty momentous scale here for, the vast majority of other tariffs that are still kind of to hit the rest of the world.
So you heard it. We're running on vibes, and unfortunately, those vibes were pretty solid. Once again, from that dip that we saw pretty bad at 3:30 yesterday till about 3 this morning. We had 12 hours of vibes, and then the vibe train just turned off, and we tried to get a little recovery here at 8:30, a little bit of ECB talk, and then obviously just not holding. So the fact that we are getting, as that report I just referred to, these positive vibes, and even here, had very productive call with the president of Mexico yesterday. Likewise, I met with the highest level Japanese trade representatives. It was very productive meeting. Every nation, including China, wants to meet today. Italy, and that was obviously from Trump on True Social. And we're getting this, and yet the market, we're not seeing that reaction anymore. We got the big daily reaction on the whole 90-day thing right here on Wednesday, April the 9th. And since then, it's just been lethargic. There's been no follow through. And you could argue that we're actually, as of yesterday, starting to kind of break down. So the fact that we pumped, okay, yeah, the day after, that's always going to be chaotic. We started to grind up. And the fact that on Monday and Tuesday, we had that opportunity, but we just didn't. We didn't even touch the high from Wednesday. No, let's get this upside gap fill. It's just something is going on. The market is telling us that, first of all, you can see it directly from price that it's not happy with what is happening. But then on top of that, even in the short term, when we're getting updates like this of, hey, we're meeting with everyone, the meeting's going great, and we're even trying to get something struck with China, even the market is telling us, well, okay, like we'll believe it when we see it. But right now, something is going on that the market is like giving us that clear warning sign. China targets U.S. services and other areas as it decrees meaningless tariff hikes on goods. Excuse me. While the Trump administration is largely focused on pressing ahead on his tariff plans, Beijing has rolled out a series of non-tariff restrictive measures. So as much as they're saying, yeah, like, hey, like we want to talk, we're open to talks, the talks are still not happening. China is saying that the U.S. is being disrespectful, and Trump just is now seemingly every single time something happens, we're seeing a larger and larger tariff number to the point that the market's not even really reacting to that anymore. I think so much insanity and chaos has gone on that now when we're getting updates that a couple weeks ago would have had a big impact on the market, we're now in a situation where I think even the bulls and the bears are just so tired of it. Like you can almost sense it in the market where we're getting these updates and it pops and then comes down. We're getting bad updates, it drops and then pops. Even yesterday, Jerome Powell basically saying the whole situation is fucked. The market drops and then still in the close, we had a pretty solid recovery. I think both sides are at the point where they're just like, what's going on right now? It's a really strange environment to be trading in. With respect to today and the interest rate stuff, we got some announcements this morning, and this kind of ties into what we heard from, you had obviously Trump talking about ECB. So that they had their interest rate decision. So I guess they've now cut 7 times, at least according to his Truth Social. Initial jobless claims came out coming in lower than expected. So obviously that's a good thing. And right now in real time, the ECB press conference is still probably going on. Just for those of you who maybe might have missed it, the market is closed tomorrow in observation of Good Friday. So that's why OPEX is today. That's why, honestly, who knows? We might see crazy stuff in the market, or we might see an absolute nothing burger as people are saying, like, screw this. I'm just going to start like my weekend early, holiday weekend, and maybe just take a breather for once. So I do want you to know about that. Next week, nothing really major scheduled. Obviously, we're getting some PMI numbers. We're getting some durable goods, but like there's nothing huge on the docket, at least as of now. I do want to remind you we're still in earnings season. Yesterday, we heard from ASML. Not so good. I'm going to talk about TSMC and United Health. And just so you guys know, after the market closes today, we are expected to hear from Netflix. TSMC sticks with its revenue forecast after profit tops estimates despite Trump trade worries. So this is a little bit of a mixed bag because yesterday we heard from ASML, not good. It missed, and it also had legitimate concerns about what in the world's going on in the coming quarters. TSMC, a little bit more of an optimistic tone. TSMC's reported net income increased 60.3% from a year ago, while net revenue in the March quarter rose 41, almost 42%. The company faces headwinds from the trade policy of the U.S. President Donald Trump, who placed broad trade tariffs on Taiwan and stricter export controls on TSMC clients, NVIDIA and AMD. So in terms of the trade war and what's going on, please don't forget that NVIDIA, 1 day ago, 2 days ago, at this point, all the days are honestly like just meshing together as just one clusterfuck. But anyway, we know with NVIDIA that they're not allowed to sell the fancy schmancy chips to China anymore, the H200s, which they're expecting to be a $5.5 billion hit. So we're just kind of operating in no man's land. So anyway, not completely dismal. ASML was legit bad. TSMC a little bit better. I'll be curious about Netflix tonight just to get a general bellwether for what's going on in tech. But we did hear from United Health, and it was not good. United Health plunges after cutting outlook on care costs. United Health Group, once again, this is the biggest insurance provider in the U.S. Shares plunged after the health insurer cut its earnings outlook for the year, setting a surprise jump in care costs far above what it had anticipated, and the shares took a huge hit. Actually, let's see where they're at right now in pre-market trading, because the last time I checked at it, UNH. Yeah, it closed at 585, currently trading at 490. That's a 16% drop. That is brutal. I know we don't really commonly talk about stocks like this just because they're a little bit boring, but that's a big hit. If you haven't already, sign up for the newsletter. It comes to your email inbox every single Sunday. It's 100% free. It's always been free. It always will be free. Check it out. I give you a breakdown of what's going on in the market. I call out all the earnings. I try to highlight the ones that I think you're going to care most about. I give you a little cheat sheet of all the major macroeconomic events. Probably most useful is the seasonality of each individual day. I do want to remind you, today's a little bit funky. Over the past 27 years, the better part of 3 decades, the bulls win this day more often, 56%, which is pretty much in line with the general statistics of the market. But the issue here is that when the bears win it, they win it with greater size. So it's a little bit more than a quarter flip in terms of who wins, and the bulls, like I said, 56. But the profit factor coming in at 0.5. This is the look at the equity curve you would have if you bought it open, sold it closed on the S&P 500 futures market. So for about the first decade, it was more of a neutral, popped up kind of sideways. But then ever since like the past 15 years, really, you can see that this particular day has, when the bears win it, they definitely win it with some decent size. So I just wanted to call that out. Right now, I'm even of the opinion that seasonality, it's never ever been the end all be all, but we're also in an environment where this is all just news driven. So, I mean, depending on what is said, what isn't said, and who's saying what, you could pretty much just say seasonality, like, oh man, maybe it does work out, maybe it doesn't. For example, yesterday was a red day. We ended up dropping 2% in the market, and that was actually seasonally a very bullish day. And this all happened because of what Jerome Powell had to say. Once again, that's not something that's going to be captured in seasonality. So I think it's useful to know. It's much more useful in less chaotic times, just to throw it out there. And right now we just happen to live in an absurdly chaotic time. So just wanted to say that. With respect to today, S&P 500, here's a look at the daily chart. Like I said, I think it's concerning that on Monday and Tuesday, we didn't even test the high from Wednesday. Started a breakdown yesterday. Yes, right now in pre-market trading, there's a little bit of optimism. I don't think it's going to be there for long, but once again, that's just a random guess, a random conjecture. Let's just wait till actual market open. But right now, the structure, you could argue how bearish it is or it isn't, but it's definitely not bullish. With respect to my active traders in here, these are the key levels I'll be looking at personally. Obviously, the green, the red, and the white is the high, the low, and the close of yesterday. This white box is what I would consider to be today's transition zone. If you are a short-term trader, yeah, the bull case would be basically above 5,300. If the market can get above and hold above that, I'd then be watching 5,325 followed by 5,360. These are the key open interest levels, and then obviously the high. On the flip side, the market, if it does get sucked back into this transition zone, I'd be looking to see if it breaks down below 5,250, because if it does, then I'll be watching yesterday's low. And then from there, we have this 10-point region where there's quite a bit of open interest action. So a lot of people playing that. So basically, the bull case is up here. The bear case is down here. I should also note that if we do get into the bull case scenario, I'm personally not going to be taking it, just because the larger picture outside of the 0DT, there's really nothing constructive going on right now for the bulls. So for me, I'm either going to be looking for a good bearish setup, as of now, of course, barring any crazy news, but I'm looking for a good bearish setup, as in I want the trend, the momentum, and the options to be bearish, where I could get in with a low risk opportunity. If I see that, I'll take a shot at it. Other than that, I'll just be sitting on my hands, because maybe in the short term we get a bit of a pop, but that's like a counter trend move relative to everything else going on. So for me, I'm very much a trader where I want as many things to align as I possibly can, and I want the short term movement to be aligning with not only the larger term, like the bigger time frame movement, but also the structure of what's going on. And as I said at the start of this, if you look at the 0DT next week and really the full option chain, they're all put dominated. We don't really have that much support. So even if there's like a little bit of a bullish pop, like the bottom could fall out at any moment. So for me, just once again, barring any crazy developments, the first thing I would have to see to maybe consider that the bulls aren't so guilty is a push and a recapture of all the way up here, 5,400, which once again is another key options level. So I would need the market to get all the way back up here. And ideally, I'd also see some constructive development in the option chain. But just as of now, we're just not seeing it. So like, don't shoot the messenger, but it's just that's what the current situation is. So get ready. Market open's going to be a little bit crazy just because not only is it just the final day of the week, but it's also the monthly OPEX. So we have quite a bit of churn right here, right at market open. Remember, those AM contracts expire at 9:30. So basically they're live for another 23 seconds. So we're going to probably see a little bit of hecticness right out of the gate. What do we want to watch today? NVIDIA is probably a good one to watch. And then MSTR, a surprising green one. But let's get ready to rumble. We have about 10 seconds. And then we're going to see if we can make some moolah today. Let's see if we can make some moolah. Dingity ding ding ding. The world's largest casino is now open. Best of luck to all. Play responsibly, and if not, have fun. All right, let's see what is going on today. Obviously, we just saw that giant burn. Those just all expired, and now you can see here, I'll just give it a quick reload so we can see what in the world is actually going on. You can see there's nothing. I mean, looking at the gamma map, we are just in a desolate no man's land situation. We can see there was quite a bit of an expiration up here at 5,400. We have people playing the 5,300, and we have people playing the 5,200. So basically, it's just all these major $100 increments is where we're seeing action in the market. Obviously, I have no idea which way this will or won't break. Not only am I biased to the downside today because of the options chain and what we're seeing there, but I also have on puts. So like I am currently betting against the market. But if the market starts to turn, of course, I'll cut it. Like I have risk points that I'll be paying attention to. But I think it's this simple of how's the market going to react at 5,300? Do market participants believe the equilibrium, i.e. the price? Remember, that's what equilibrium is. It's just where supply and demand hit. Do they think that the equilibrium is above 5,300? Because if it is, okay, that's a small win. And maybe then we see 5,325. And then if there's follow through, 5,360. But as I said, I don't think that this is going to hold. I mean, we're already seeing it not hold. So I'll be watching yesterday's low, 5,276. And then from there, maybe there's a bounce at 5,250. Remember, this is that choppy in between zone, the transitional zone, as I refer to it. On the top side, yeah, maybe the bulls have a shot. On the bottom side, I would say it's legitimately bearish. And in between, I'm just kind of waiting to see what in the world is going on. But I would say as of right now, your first major watch should just be yesterday's closing value. On the SPY, it is 525.66, and on SPX, it is 5275, 5276. So that's my first watch out of the gate, just to see if we get there. Is it support? Do we break below? Because that would be the green to red move. That would literally be from where we're going on a potential gain on the day to a potential loss on the day. So that's my first major watch out of the gate. Obviously, we can also take a peek at options flow. Ever since market open, the Mag 7 slight decline for the first 2-ish minutes. Looking at the S&P 500, a little bit of a pop, started to turn 1 minute into the day. As we're waiting for this to open, obviously, I'll show you this here. Oh, why is that not? Okay, now you guys should be able to see it. Here's all my accounts. Obviously, I've not done any trades today, just to show you that I wasn't trading in any pre-market action. And speaking of that, Apex is today's stream partner. So if you want to trade with someone else's money, the whole sim to funded thing that we've all been doing, and I think it's absolutely awesome. Right now, they are running an 80% off deal. So pinned to the top of chat, in the description of the video, you can find the link. But the key is to use that code GOONY. Whenever you're checking out, there's going to be a coupon section to get that 80% off. Instead of paying $167, you could pay $33. Obviously a pretty sizable discount, and just use that code GOONY. And I could explain it a little bit more ideally when I'm executing some trades, but we're going to see how it will be going. Oh, damn. It would have actually been a really nice trade here at 925, a pop over VWAP. I'm looking at the NASDAQ. I'm trading the NQ contract, which is the NASDAQ futures contract. One cool thing about futures trading is there's no pattern day trading. So if you're a stock trader or an options trader, especially if you're trading with less than 25K, you know how painful it is, horribly painful it is to be dealing with pattern day trading. That, in my book, is one of the coolest things about futures trading. There is no pattern day trading. So you can trade as to your heart's content. So anyway, just to throw that out there, but if you were trading a bit of pre-market, this push above VWAP and the failure, that would have been a nice trade to get in here around 18,515. Your risk would have been this recent high and down, and then just started to puke at 931, and you'd be up At one point, you were already up 100 points. You'd be up $2,000 per contract. That's crazy. That's crazy. All right. Well, I'm going to be patient. Or I'm going to attempt to be patient. We're going to see. Like I said, my first watch out of the gate is going to be yesterday's closing value. So we tried to open up apparently on top of 5,300. The market clearly didn't like it. 5,300 serving as resistance as kind of predicted. So now I'm just watching this next support zone. Remember, I think life is way easier to just pay attention to the key areas, and anything in between the key areas is just noise. Pay attention to major breakouts, major breakdowns, fake out breakdowns, all that good jazz. But when you're in between these major zones, don't worry about it. You're just randomly in between a zone. Like, what you're looking for is the reaction of these key levels, whether it's a key structural level, a key technical level, a key psychological level, key options levels. The name of the game is identifying the key levels and then paying attention to how the market reacts to said key levels. And then you're just kind of playing it from one zone to the next zone. But in between, you're just kind of waiting to see what actually does or doesn't happen. But anyway, we opened up, could not hold 5,300, and it seems like we are very rapidly going to be sent down to yesterday's closing value, which historically people do react there. They have sitting orders there, whether it's to take their profits on the short, whether it's to maybe take a stab at catching the falling knife and go long. We are expected to see a reaction at the green to red move, which once again, that's this white horizontal line. That's the closing value. And we are getting pretty close to it on both the SPY and on the Qs. The Qs actually got very, very close just then, about 50 cents away on the Q. So slowly but surely drifting down to that green to red test. MicroStrategy getting a random bid right now, getting a nice bid actually. VIX is down a little bit, but let's see if it's actually going to pop green. If the VIX starts, what's that high that it would have to take out? I want to say 35.17. That's kind of like a recent high that we've seen. If it gets above that, most likely that's going to be coming with a breakdown of yesterday's low, if I just had to guess. But calm, cool, collected. Let's wait for that perfect trade. Does the Goonie activation code waive the admin fee for a pro account once the evaluation is passed? Yes, if you're taking for take profit, it does. That's the current deal on take profit. So take profit, it's a one-time. They're always just running different deals. So sometimes like, oh man, she really scratched me this morning. A vicious little cougar cat. And then she gaslights. Dude, Piper is so into gaslighting. She'll like viciously attack me. And then minutes later, she'll come up like purr and like, I don't know, like take a nap on me. Like she'll be sitting on my like lap and she'll like snuggle in and she'll be like, dude, what do you mean? What do you mean? And we were fighting. Like, dude, she's such a gaslighter. All right, what are we doing? We're only 7 minutes in. 7 minutes in, we got a little bit of a hit for the first 4 minutes, going a little bit sideways, and it does appear that we're just kind of waiting to see are we coming into this closing value. So we just got to have a bit of patience for that. Right now, here's a look at the options flow. The Mag 7 not looking so good. Kind of a puke, a little bit of a bounce, seemingly coming back down. Looking at the S&P 500, similar situation. Kind of a puke and now just kind of going a bit sideways. So as of now, the options flow is looking pretty much exactly like price of a little bit of a hit and then sideways. So early morning hit and then a couple minutes of just nada. Because cats are meant to be outside. She goes outside. Especially when I like go back to Pennsylvania or something. She'll do some outdoor shenanigans. All right. The Qs really want to get this test in right here of 444.18, yesterday's closing value. Really trying to get that test in. MicroStrategy showing a bit of strength. NVIDIA getting its clock cleaned right out of the gate, dropping from, actually it's not even that bad. It dropped about a buck and some change. NVIDIA down 1%, Palantir up 1%, MicroStrategy up 1.4. We got some green there. ASML up 1.4. It's a mixed bag. I'm not seeing anything too crazy, like any big. The crazy thing is United Health Group, UNH, just getting destroyed. That's that health insurance play that reported this morning. All right, the Qs are coming up to their test value of that close. which that's a really common play, is wherever you open, you play the major indice to its previous closing value. The market, for whatever reason, has a high statistical likelihood every single day of hitting the previous day's closing value. Does it always do it? No, obviously not, but it is a very likely play. So that's a strategy you could use. I would suggest that you add a couple filters of like the times you take it, the times you don't take it. Like, I don't think that that's a strategy you would want to trade just arbitrarily right out of the gate. Obviously not. But it is something that you could use as the basis for a strategy, but you might want to add a couple other just check boxes and criteria for it. But the play is effectively when you're looking at something like the SPY, or like really the S&P 500, the NASDAQ, the Dow, the Russell, all those major indices, it is very, very common in a trading day to hit the previous trading day's closing value. Maybe not as strong on news-driven things when you're having CPI report, a PCE report, retail sales. So like if it's a news-driven thing, it is a bit weaker. But on days that it's not news-driven, when just like in the overnight session, if you drift up, drift down, it is commonly at some point in the next trading day reverted. Technically haven't hit it yet. We got really close. What was today's low? We hit 31. So that was about 13 cents away. It got really close, and we're getting a bit of a pop now. What's going on in options? Are we still trending down? Mag 7, the delta clearly downward. S&P 500 delta clearly trending down. The 5-minute, the 10-minute, the 30-minute, and the 4-hour are all bearish. The 5-minute, the 10-minute, the 30-minute, the 4-hour are currently all bearish. So right now, from a price structure standpoint, slightly drifting down. From a price momentum standpoint, on the S&P 500 and on the NASDAQ, we're below all these timeframes EMA. So that's bearish. And then looking at the options flow, well, we just got a random pop right there at 940. Is that not on the Mag 7, but we are seeing it on the SPY. Something's going on in the SPY. Randomly at 940, we're seeing the call delta starting to pop right here. That is the green and the orange. That is the 0DT delta, and then call delta specifically, and then all expirations being put together. So something's going on the 0DT right here, that this delta, it was drifting down, but then randomly at 941 got a bit of a pop. No one's really touching puts. Puts have been pretty flat, but it is specific to the S&P 500 because you can see that we're not really seeing call delta come in on the Mag 7. We are seeing some put deltas get closed out. So for whatever reason, people are selling their puts. I don't know if they're selling to open a position or selling to close a position, but puts are being sold. And calls were also being sold. Puts sold, calls sold. Everyone's just dumping their position, saying we don't know what the fuck is going on. I think that this is going to be more of a fake out than anything. Maybe it has legs, but just generally looking at this overall trend, this looks like it's a momentary pop. A momentary pop. We're going to see. Yeah, look at that. Something happened right at 940. I mean, you could even see the volume spike. Someone came in, they waited for the first 10 minutes to pass, and now we're getting this pop. How close did we get? We got pretty close to touching the closing value. Remember, 5,300, that's now going to serve as resistance. So let's see. Maybe it's just a trip up here to reevaluate. Maybe they recapture it. I don't know. Your guess is going to be as good as mine, but we can see someone decided to splash the pot, if you will, around 940, 941, a clear something going on in the options. Something going on in options. VWAP, maybe. Where is VWAP? We're below VWAP. Maybe it's a trip back up there. That would roughly, if we hit VWAP again, that would probably be in the realm of SPX at that 5,300 level. So that'd be an interesting place to kind of reevaluate what either is or isn't going on. Just trying to be patient, trying to wait. Clearly, we had two completely different trends. We were trending down for the first 10 minutes, and now for the next 5 minutes, we're kind of trending up. So we've pretty much gone nowhere. Clearly, tech is weaker. The SPY's almost all the way back up to the intraday high, while the Qs are not. So they're on a relative basis. There's obviously weakness in the NASDAQ, while there's a bit more strength in the SPY. Is that the turn point? Is that the turn? a little bit of a pop that's about to get faded. MicroStrategy just keeps climbing. That is not bad at all. And Palantir also green on the day. But NVIDIA down 1.7. All right, a little bit of a pop in the SPY, a little bit of a pop in the Qs. The question is, does it have any legs? Looking at the Mag 7, clear pivot here at 941, not really trending back down yet. And then the SPY, look at that. We actually hit a new delta high. We didn't hit a new price high, but the delta really got popping there. What did we have? It was both. You had the put delta going up and the call delta going up. So you had calls being bought and puts being sold, but it is now seemingly in real time being faded. Seemingly being faded. Oh, brother. 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 Right. Well, I'm ready to go. Part of me is wondering if I should have taken that, but we're not even 15 minutes into the day. But this pump that then faded right in here, that could have actually been a really nice trade, because then your risk is up here. You're going short, obviously. Your risk, you're below VWAP, so that's in your favor. You're basically saying, hey, that recent options pop is baloney and it's going to get faded, which it appears that it was already. Here's a look at the Mag 7. Yeah, see, that puked a little bit. We're getting a little bit of a reversion right now, but I wonder if we're about to fall back over and make a new delta low, which would drag price down. Whatever this was, from 940 to 944, there was 4 minutes of the SPY delta really popping. We're trending down now, and that's the golden question is, are we just making a higher low and we're going to bounce off of it and keep going up, or was this all just a fake out? How close did we get? We pretty much got up to 5,300. You had people reacting point early. It was 5,299, remember. This is the choppy transitional zone for a reason, and obviously we're calling out major resistance for a reason. We couldn't hold it at open, and we're seemingly getting rejected. This might just be setting up that second test. Once again, market open, and then again 13 minutes later, this might be setting up that rejection all the way back down to the closing value. Oh, that trade would have been beautiful. All right, the Qs are testing right about now. Just tagged it. All right, so the Qs are the first one to draw blood, and for a second, they lost all the gains on the day. For one quick second, lost all the gains. Even MicroStrategy is starting to turn now. Hang on, let's go back to this flow. Can we figure anything out here? Yeah, right here, that pop, pretty much I would say half of it, maybe 2/3 of it given back, about half. I'll be curious if we're at a situation where not obviously price making a fresh low, that's a big deal. But if we're at a point that the delta has this type of a pop and then it gets completely faded, as in the delta makes a new fresh low, and we see that simultaneously where the Mag 7 delta is dropping, that just tells you that the bulls are playing from a weak position today, if you will. A weak position. Trump needs to announce some good news. He tried. The market just didn't buy it. He announced good news of positive talks with the president of Mexico, and then also positive talks with the trade representative from Japan. He tried, and just the market's at the point now where it's just every time we're getting these updates, it's reacting less and less and less. There's still a reaction, clearly, but relative to what we saw even last week, the market, you could tell it's just getting tired of all this. It's getting so tired of all this, like whipsaw and bullshit and baloney. And he very much tried. He very much tried. And just nothing's going on. We need an actual deal as a blueprint, maybe. But that's I agree that would be a piece of information that the market would probably really like. The issue is we are seemingly very far away. We kind of got an insight to that whole situation from the EU trade representative, who's basically saying, hey, I had a talk with the U.S. reps, and they seemingly don't even know what they want. He's like, he couldn't discern what they actually wanted in the deal. So that was earlier this week, and it seems like, and I don't know, maybe it's part of it. Maybe they're like, well, hang on, if we just kind of keep everyone on their toes, like maybe it's a negotiation tactic, or maybe this is just like actual legitimate dog shit. VIX puts, I think it's early. I think VIX puts will eventually pay, but it, I think you're still early to that. Once again, we're not seeing anything constructive going on in the option structure. Like right now, the bulls are not stepping up, and we can see it. That's the beauty of looking at the options market, is we can see not only time, but aggression in either direction. And right now, all of it, the whole chain, the 0DT next week and the full chain, they're all put dominated. We are not seeing I guess for lack of a better word, like a de-thawing, at least at this moment in time. Eventually it's going to happen, but this concept of like, oh, get VIX puts, you're early. There was a shot of it on Wednesday where, okay, if we follow through and start to push, but look at, there's literally no follow through. That's a concern. So there was that argument on Wednesday, Thursday, a little shaken up, but the fact that on Monday and Tuesday, we didn't get that follow through, that's telling. Like the market is giving us information, and you got to pay attention to it. So eventually, like vol will get like smacked back down, and we'll go back down to sub 20. It just doesn't appear to be now. Doesn't appear to be now. We're getting, actually, speaking of that, so the Qs literally kissed their closing value and just started to rocket. We just took out this recent high. What is going on? Okay, so the SPY delta is picking up out of nowhere right now, and it's both. The puts are ramping and the calls are ramping. So the delta going up on both right there. Look at that. Wow. So we pumped, we pulled back, looked like it was going to get completely faded. We actually made a nice base, and now it's just really popping. Here's a look at the Mag 7. Same thing. Starting at 948, this delta just ripping. And it's both. Once again, it's puts and it's calls. It's the double doozy. So for whatever reason, the market waited almost 19 minutes, but the trend on Delta clearly changing. We were trending down, and then you could see like literally someone just flipped the switch and just started to pump it. And we are getting another test of 5,300. So let's see if there's enough follow through. Let's see if there's enough oomph to actually hold it. As I said before, barring any major news, I'm not looking for any bullish positions. In fact, I think bullish positions are foolish. Especially from a swing perspective, just because you're not being supported by the overall structure right now. If you're trying to just scalp trade or whatever, I don't know, have at it. That's just your prerogative. But remember, going long at resistance is not a good tactic, because not only are you buying at something where it could get rejected, but if you're chasing it at that level, you're inherently the farthest away from risk possible. It's one thing if you're like, oh, all right, I'm going to try for this breakout, and your risk is really close. But in this type of structure, I mean, what are you risking? Literally pretty much the low of the day to be buying right now. Generally not a good tactic. Generally, and I'm saying that on top of the fact of we just know that the overall structure is not supportive. Calls not printing. Why would calls be printing right now? Vol's going down. Why would you expect calls to be printing? That doesn't make sense. If you are right and price goes up, vol is going to come down. So your premium, your options premium is going to be losing value from that. That's like a very classic mistake that retail traders make. Non-professional traders is they're as degenerate in their YOLO calls as they are in puts, and you can't do that, because if you are right and price goes up, vol's going to come down. If vol comes down, yeah, you're gaining delta value, but you're losing like in the vol side. So there's much better ways to express that trade, like the bullish sentiment. You could do a call debit spread, you could do at the money calls, you could sell puts, you could use the futures market, but it's a very unsophisticated, rudimentary net losing situation to just be punting long calls, especially like deep out of the money calls. You're just going to get a vol crushed. Yeah, vol crush for sure. My point was that it shows that it's not the way today. No, that's not what that would mean. That's just like a mathematical aspect of if price goes up, vol is going to come down. Even if the whole situation were absurdly bullish, you would still see that same phenomena. What you're pointing out is just an aspect of vol, nothing to do with it being bullish or bearish. You're literally just pointing out how vol works. So be careful with, obviously you guys could be bullish or bearish, but just be careful about how you express that trade. If you trade futures, it's the way either. If you trade futures, it's the way either. What the fuck does that mean? If you trade futures, it's the way either way. I don't, dude, what? I don't know what that. If you trade futures, it's the way either way. What the fuck? I've now read this 5 times and I'm trying to, I'm really trying to make a mental jump here to try to discern what this puzzle means. If you trade futures, okay, talking about futures, it's the way either way. What the fuck does that possibly mean? I don't know. I've now read that in my head over 10 times and I'm trying to figure it out. If you trade futures, it that way either way. This is the way. This is the way. Can you explain more? Would you say vol, you mean VIX, implied vol, Vega? Well, they're all tied together. Well, VIX is going to be directly related to the vol of SPY, but you look at implied vol if you're looking at something outside of the S&P 500. But they're all one and the same. Vega is the Greek measurement of how things would change in the market from a volatility perspective, IV going up or down 1% and that impact on the premium. So Vega tells you how premium will change on an increase or decrease of implied vol. In this case, you can get an idea of the implied vol of the S&P 500 looking at the VIX because the VIX measures the volatility of the S&P 500, but every underlying that has a derivatives contract also does have its own IV. So in this, for this question, it's kind of all one and the same. It's all kind of one and the same. Why do stocks not go left? That's a great question. I don't know if we have an answer to that. I think there's many smarter people than I who've tried to answer that question and figure out why stocks don't go left. And we just haven't really figured it out. If you think about it, he's right. It's either way, that way, every time you trade that way. What way? This is the way. Fucking you! I thought I was losing my mind. I think you guys are more so losing your mind. Because time doesn't count backwards. Well, it depends. Are you moving at the speed of light? Remember, time is relative, folks. Time is it's very much relative. Why are stocks only trade in 2D? Another very valid question. What I don't get is why don't we just call ahead to our friends in Australia because it's already tomorrow there. Why don't we just ask them where the market is going to go? I don't even necessarily I think maybe we're thinking about trading improperly. Why trade harder when you could trade smarter? Let's just call Australia. Be like, oh, hey, dude, if you call someone in Australia right now and you're like, what is the date? They're going to be like, yo, it's the 18th. Great, it's the 18th. Tell me what the fuck goes in the market on the 17th. These are all the types of questions that I think we really need to start getting the answer to. You don't know my relatives, Chad. I do. I watch you eat dinner every single night. Just a little light voyeurism. I think the light speed time dilation stuff is nonsense. Well, probably weren't that good at physics then. The more important question is, why is stocks? How are stocks? Who are stocks? Maybe. They're only 12 hours different. Well, a 12-hour lead time would still very much tell us what in the world is going on in the market. Matt, why didn't the stock market move up when I bought 0.0000215 of a share in my Robinhood account? Is the market rigged? 100%. The fact that the market doesn't do what we want it to do is all the evidence I need that this game is rigged. All right, the market is attempting to battle it out at 5,300. Let's see if it does or doesn't hold. It's becoming a sticky mess. Looking at the options flow, the SPY went from bearish for the first 10 minutes to bullish for the next 15 minutes to now having no idea what it wants to do. Looking at the Mag 7, it was bearish for about the first 18 minutes, and then it went very bullish for about 5, and now it's saying, it's drunk, dude. Everyone's drunk. I'm drunk. You're drunk. The markets are drunk, which is deeply concerning because it's early. Like, it's only 10 a.m., and yet everyone's drunk. That can't be good. It simply cannot be good. My algorithm. It's funny. The day I tell you guys that I'm actually going to stop trading by any rules, it actually would tell me to be going short at 18,430. But do I want to take that trade? Do I want to? It's kind of, I don't know, man, a day where I'm like, dude, I'm done with all these trading rules. It's weird that I haven't made any trades yet. The bots are drunk. It seems it. It very much, well, it's 9 a.m. here, so it's okay to be drunk now. Yeah, it's 10 a.m. That's the issue. You want to straddle 10. That's a very good point, Digital Travis. 9 a.m., you just had a long night, and now you're just basically a little bit of hair of the dog, and you're keeping the party going. And then 11 a.m., that's the whole next day. And if you want to be day drunk, you got to start drinking during the day. It's 10 a.m. That's the real concern. It is very much 10 a.m. That's the real concern. All right. The market was about to break down, then just got saved again. Someone bought a grip of calls there. A grip of calls. Well, we tried to get going. Oh, what happens if this shelf... Do I want to take this trade? The day I talk a big game, I'm not following any rules. It feels like I'm getting awfully close to following rules, which is lame if I'm being honest.
Order submitted.
All right. I threw an order up. I didn't get a fill yet. I have a pending order. How lame. If I were you guys as a viewer, I would feel cheated. I'd be like, this guy, he started his entire show about how he doesn't want to do this today, and he's taking all of his trading rules and throwing them out the window. And then yet I'm not even degenerately trading yet. Like, if I were you guys, I'd be asking for a refund. My bots are killing it. Question is, how do I get it to work on the eval? NinjaTrader doesn't seem to like running the bots on real money accounts.
Order
only
submitted.
sim. Thoughts? It doesn't know if it's real money or not. That doesn't make sense. You're running a strategy and then it's just applying it to whatever account. It wouldn't know. Hey, the bot went short. All right, I should do a little bit of risk management. The bot went short. I am basically lower high, VWAP rejection, potential price breakdown, Golly. I don't even know. I really don't have a plan on this. I'm just kind of lit in the bot. I'm just vibing. Matt, do you think rum will surpass $20 this year? No. I think right now the economy, the overall like just monetary situation, I think is rough. It could. I would like it to, obviously, but I mean, we're like literally flirting with a bear market, dude. So this isn't necessarily commentary on like rum stocks specifically. It's commentary on the fact that the overall like market situation is currently not good. Serious question. Has your opinion on Vlad, Robinhood changed in the past couple of years? They seem like they're trying to make some serious moves in the fintech space. They're making moves, and I think some of the moves are good business decisions. I still think he's like kind of a spineless person. Like I think he was being intentionally intellectually dishonest back in the GameStop days. But why would I guess here's a way I can answer your question with the question is, why would them doing business things change my opinion on him as a human? They're seemingly making strong business decisions. I agree with that, but that doesn't change my opinion that I think he could have been a lot more transparent back in the GameStop stuff. But I also want to clarify, I don't buy into this idea of like he wanted to assist his market making buddies and like stop it from going. Because if anything, if it went more and more, he'd make more and more money because more and more people are trading. I think he just literally didn't have enough money at the DTCC to clear all the, like, it was a 30 Sigma event. I think he literally was just like not well capitalized. And I think he could have explained that better. I think he could have used his positioning to like share insights with how market structure works. Like, I think he could have done steps to be less of a douchebag, but I don't buy into this narrative that like he wanted to intentionally stop the rally from happening in GameStop. But obviously it had the net effect of doing that for sure. My oven apparently has an air fryer setting, but I am skeptical to use it. Well, feels like that's a spot on. This is what the output shows. I have no idea. What bot are you using? One that I made. Matt, as punishment for not sticking to DGen today, your punishment should be to buy 1 share of AMC. I'd rather literally just go light that money on fire. They recently halted trading again. Need I say more? I would recommend that you do a bit more research because brokerages don't decide what halts. It's not like their decision. And that's another thing where just like retail traders getting shit wrong, that would be obviously an example of it. No brokerage on this planet decides when things halt. That's an exchange thing. And remember, the brokerage is getting the trader, you, connected to the exchange. They're the middleman. They are your connection to trading. But it's the trading venues that decide what is actively trading and what is not trading. So even that, like, of just they recently halted trading again, it's not their decision. And like, I don't want to be the person defending Robinhood, but like that's just like basic information. Brokers don't halt. They took the buy button. Don't lie. Brokers didn't halt. They took the buy button. What the fuck? What? What are you possibly talking about, dude? I think they, I literally just said brokers don't halt. Like I'm explaining that. I can understand. Dude, I really don't think every person is meant to trade. People, this isn't for everyone. This is not for everyone. There is no defense for what happened. There are no charges. This is staggering. Well, it's not illegal what happened. That's why there's no charges. They literally didn't have... I mean, this is all well-known information, so I feel like we're kind of beating a dead horse. They literally just did not have enough money at the DTCC. They got margin called by the Depository Trust Clearing Corp. So like at the end of the day, remember, it is net settlement at the end of the day, and they did not have enough money to like cover all the GameStop shares that represented the buying in the day there. I made $5. Who wants some Wendy's tendies? How is my position doing? Hey, I'm up. It's not a bad deal. Should I just move my stop to break even? How much? But is it going to bounce off of 400? 30 points is not that much wiggle room. Not that much wiggle room. Not that much. We're just kind of going sideways ever since 10:06. We're just kind of like, we sold here, and really 10:06, we just haven't gone anywhere. We went down, up, down, up, down, up, down, like just not really doing shit. Not really doing shit. I think I might just let it ride. Fuck it. What's the worst that can happen? All that's going to happen is I blow out these accounts again, and then I have to pass the eval again, and then I have to pay for the upgrade again, which feels like I'm doing that all of the time. All of the time. The question here is, are the queues going to go red? Is the SPY going to go red? Was it actually rejected at 300? Are we like falling over as it's actually popping? Well, the SPY delta just took actually a pretty serious hit. Look at this. So we puked, we popped, we tried to have a secondary pop, but the delta is almost at a new fresh low on the S&P 500. And then the Mag 7 took a big hit there at 10:06. A big hit in the delta at 10:06. I have 10K on an NVIDIA call. That is not a smart move. I mean, have you seen the news on NVIDIA? Is Apex sponsoring you, vice versa? Well, I'm definitely not sponsoring them, but I'm a partner with them. That's actually, they're the partner of today's show. And I'm also just a customer of theirs, a client of theirs. So yes, I have a partnership with them. Hence why they're sponsoring today's show. But on top of it, I just use the service. SPY trying to recover. Might be a little higher low here. It was kind of almost this fake out breakdown at 10:06, 10:07, and now we're getting back into this range. What is going on here? What in tarnation? Well, I have never. All right, it's getting saved at that delta low. Jesus. Like right in the nick of time. Yeah, someone right now at 10:12 just bought a group of calls, a grip of calls, if you will. You could see the call delta popping on the SPY. Looking at the Mag 7, someone actually dumped a bunch of calls on the Mag 7. And I can't even come up with a good reason why the Mag 7's popping right now, because the options are saying, no way, Jose. Look at that. I mean, the call side of the Mag 7 just got slaughtered. Yeah, this is not an environment to be chasing pops at all. At all. This is actually a very dangerous time to be chasing any pop. Choppy. NVIDIA is looking like shit. Even MicroStrategy, which was popping, is now losing it. I think it's a matter of time before the SPY hits a new intraday low, before the Qs hit a new intraday low. I think this is just a patience play, but every single pop is just getting faded. And the options market, look at this. Even on these price pops, options just don't care. Options are not supportive of a pop here. And we just keep running into very serious resistance at 5,300. It appears as if when we get to this level, people are just using that to exit. They're like, cool. And it then becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. If enough people leave their bullish positions at key resistance, well, then you actually get rejected. And that's kind of what we're seeing right now, based on all the data we can see from price and from options. Hey, I'm back in the green. Back in the green. Back in the green. Oh, brother. Oh, brother, oh, brother, oh, brother. What do I want to do here? 430. 2. All right, that's the max money I could go for because of their consistency rules. I'm not necessarily saying that's my target. I just wanted to mark out like what my actual max would be, and that is my max. I should probably move my risk down to this recent spike. Will I do it? I don't even know if I want to do that. We're gonna see. Let's see how this plays out. We're back in this choppy, horrible zone, but clearly just. We got rejected at 5,300 1, 2, 3, 4, like 5 times. It's just clearly the market is not feeling, as of now, it's not feeling aggressively bullish above that level. I would be looking to see, currently the intraday low is what? 5,281. I want to see the test of that. And then if we break, obviously we'd be looking at a test of the green to red move at about 6 points below it at 5,276. So currently trading at 292. I'm watching the intraday low at 281. And well, obviously that's going to be my downside watch. My upside watch is 5,300, where we just keep getting rejected, looking pretty weak and lethargic there. But let's see. Options. Mag 7 just hit a new delta low reading of the day. That is not a time to be thrown on a bullish position. SPY catching a little bit of a pop right here. You can see a spike in volume, this gray bar. So someone is trying to be a bit supportive. More specifically, we are seeing puts curl up and calls curl up. But let's see if it has any legs. Let's see if it has any legs to it. I don't think so. If you want to be... let's get yellow candles. Why not trade 10 micros and take half the first profit target and then ride without as much drawback risk? I could do that. I don't know. I guess commission fees would be the answer. That's the trade-off, is you pay literally 10x. On spot camo, what does a put wall actually mean? I'm guessing there's a large amount of puts at that level. Exactly. SPY, like I said, I'm watching 81, the intraday low. I'll set an alert there so we know if we're at a new intraday low. But really, I think that is going to get taken out. The question is how is the market going to react to going red, to giving up its overnight gains? And the Qs are about to go red. The Qs are about to go red. All right. I'll feel quite a bit more comfortable if it can like actually hold below 400. The NQ contract just keeps like, we push below 400, sizable bounce up. We push below 400, sizable bounce up. We push below 400. Is this the time we actually crack 400, or is it just going to be another reversion right here? Honestly, what I want to happen is just a gnarly puke all the way down to my max profit target, and then I don't have to worry about this whatsoever. Don't have to worry about this whatsoever. Oh, I could move my stop to this recent high at a 10.06, 10.12, pretty much the same. That would be 30 points against me. So that's $600, which is a survival. But remember, it's based off your unrealized. So I'd have to consider my max gain, and the math just gets messy. So I think the options, when you're first trading, it's just the drawback is based off of your unrealized high. So it's the best theoretical point that your account was at, not off your realized high, which is a very different thing. And it trips a lot of traders up, which is kind of suggesting that when you're first trading these accounts, you don't want that delta between your realized high and your unrealized high to be that large. Once again, that doesn't matter though, as soon as you're at 2.5K, because from there, like it stops anyway, which is what's 2.5K? 125 points. So as soon as you go up 125 points, which right now I am up only 47, 46. As soon as your account is net up 125 points trading the NQ contract, it kind of doesn't matter anymore. So you guys just heard it. We made a fresh low on SPX. So the next level is right here. We're basically watching 5,275.86. I will set an alert there. We could get rid of this. We don't need that anymore. All right, I put the alert on to know for the green to red test. Once again, that is yesterday's closing value. If you need the SPY equivalent, it is 525.66. And then the Qs just went red for a second, but quickly bounced out of it. That's to be anticipated. It really is, just because so many traders are targeting the previous closing value. You have that as a target for the bears from the direction that we're coming from. And then also bulls, they're going to be using that as an opportunity to buy because it's a low risk entry. If you buy, you just risk like a baby amount. And if you can catch the recovery, great. You did it in a little risk. And then if you're wrong, it's only a paper cut. So generally, that's why you're going to see a reaction at that in either direction, green to red or red to green. But that's why you see the market reacting to the previous close. So I highly recommend you guys always mark that out on your chart, especially if you're trading the overall market. I literally do that every single day. NVIDIA is just getting fucking smashed. Just getting smashed. Oh, how is this looking for me? Not too shabby, up about 1.2K per account. Not too shabby. I am nervous though, because if we hit 353, that's a 2 standard deviation move from VWAP. And I've done a lot of research that suggests when it breaks below it, ride that trend as far as you can. But then when it comes back up, you have to be prepared for some like kind of serious whipsaw back to the upside. So I need to kind of be a little bit more careful about watching this level. Because like I said, if we get on the south side, I'm talking about this like yellow golden line. This is the 2 standard deviation move of VWAP, the value weighted average price. As in statistically, it's rare to be there. And if it does get there, you might be able to catch some sort of nice trend. And that's what I want to do. But then the second it comes back in, it's kind of like a classic mean reversion trade, which is why I'm watching this a bit closely. Because before you know it, we might dip below, ride it a little bit, and before you know it, it like pops 40 points. And where my accounts are at, I have to worry about that delta, the delta between my realized high and my unrealized high. Because right now, I'm up 1.3K. If this were to come all the way back and I get out at break even, I no longer have a 2.5K buffer. I have 2.5 minus the 1.3. So now my buffer to play with is only like 1,200. So it can be difficult. It can be very difficult. I'm not liking this bounce. I'm not liking this bounce. Hopefully it just gets rejected right there. We're bouncing off of 60. I'm hoping that this EMA acts as resistance. I'm hoping 400 acts as resistance. We're at the point of the trade where you just start to pray. We didn't hit the closing value. We got very close. We got about 2 points away on SPX. And now we've already bounced 7. All right, here's a look at the flow. All right, we basically puked until just now. Mag 7 bouncing a little bit. The delta is, and same thing with the SPY. Those are the traders I was literally just telling you about. We have bears targeting that level, and then we also have bulls stepping in, and that's literally in real time. That's that trade playing out right there. I hope it doesn't hold. If I can't guarantee shit, but I see NVIDIA and we're seeing some of these big tech names like just truly vomit. So the fact that bids aren't coming in on them, how is MicroStrategy, not so good. Apple, Microsoft, Tesla, MicroStrategy, Palantir, Meta. Yeah, we're seeing some pain. Things were good until about 9:54. If your delta between your unrealized and realized gets too big, do they immediately blow out your account? That's not I think you're confused on the measurement. It's literally just you have a buffer, and if you like lose that buffer, you blow out your account. But the math is, or the question is how is your buffer computed? And it's computed off your unrealized high, not your realized high. But once you lose your buffer, that's what causes you to lose your account. So I think you're kind of confused about how you're, like, if your accounts are in good standing or bad standing. Your accounts are not in good standing. You lose your accounts if you lose your buffer. The buffer is measured off your unrealized high, not your realized high. But that all stops after 2.5K. So the buffer's following you up and up and up, once again, off your unrealized high, but it stops trailing you after 2.5K. As soon as you lock in, as soon as your account's above 2.5K, your buffer just is at 50K. And we're getting a smacked. All right, what's going on here? What's going on? What in tarnation? We just hit the closing value. So this is what we're watching right now is the green to red test. And of course it happens right where I'm worried about a potential bounce. I'm up about 70 points. Do I think we're actually going to go red? That's the question. So SPX hit the closing value. SPY has not yet. And remember, SPY is the ETF created to track the SPX. The SPX is the actual S&P 500 index. SPY, once again, is an ETF created to ideally track what's going on in the SPX. So the SPX is like the theoretical value, which is why it's cash settled, of what the index is, while SPY is the one that, like, they go out and buy the proper weightings of all of the things that should be in the index. So that's why there's a little bit of a differential, because there's like transaction friction, there's lag, like that type of stuff, because the SPY actually does like legit buying and selling, while SPX is just like the perfect theoretical value. Okay, okie dokies. How do I want to handle this? The bot is still in. I know I'm at the point where, like, trying to manage this and whatnot, but the bot is saying I should actually put my stop at break even, which I don't disagree with necessarily. I just wonder if I should be more aggressive than the bot and move it all the way down here to 72. 70s, whatever this is. I'm looking at this spike here at 1025. It feels like that's recent, though. It's a little bit too recent. I could move it to 403. I could move it to this spike here. I could. Or I could just not touch anything and basically either say, fuck you, market, either blow out my accounts or give me my max money. That's another option. That's the super advanced systematic way of trading, of saying, fuck you, market, either hit my max profit or take all of my accounts, which the mood that I'm in right now, that one might be the actual move. That might be the actual move, is either give me my money or just kill my accounts. That might be the top tier play, honestly. Just fuck you, market. Have you tried threatening it? Oh, not yet, but I'm not above that, to be clear. I am not above that. All right, we are below that 2 standard deviation move. The bounces out of it can be kind of volatile, so I'm hoping that we don't go on the top side of it and I don't have to worry about it. I'd prefer just a vomit all the way down here, which would be another 50 points. We're at 330. I need it at 280, 50 points. That would be another $1,000. $3,000 is my max gain. I don't want to ever make too much in one day because of the consistency rules. Obviously, the more money, the better. The more money, the better, yes, but then also to be able to request out money, you don't want one individual calendar day to account for more than 30% of your profit. So if my goal is to get a 10K buffer, and like that's where I want to start maybe like taking out money and whatnot, well, 30% of that's 3K, which is why 3K is a self-imposed cap for me. Come on, just give me my money. Just vomit. 50 points is a little bit in NQ is a little bit more than $1 in the SPY or in QQQ for like a rough equivalent. This isn't exact, but 40 points in NQ is roughly $1 in QQQ. So for me to get this drop, I would at this point I would need the Qs like QQQ, the actual ETF, to go about. It would have to crack 442. It would have to crack 442. Come on, show me the money. Show me the money. Show me the money. Show me the money, the money, the money. Look at that puke. All right, I'm up 110 points. Remember, it stops like tracking me at 120, so I'm almost there. And then I'm just going for a little bit of icing on top of that. Just going for a little bit on top. Currently up about 2K. I'm up over 100 points. I'm up 2K per account. So it's unrealized, but right now I have an unrealized gain of about $40,000. But I can see trades are starting to hit the tape a little bit more aggressively. Come on, don't do it. Don't do this to me. Shit. Fuck. Do I want to risk it? Come on, just give me a fill. Why can't I just get like this miracle fill and then I don't even really give a shit? Come on. Let's make it a good end to the week. A good end to the week. Ride it. Come on. You could do it. Go. All right, we're at 300. There might be a bit of a reaction here. I just need 280. 280. Come on. Shit. Come on. Here we go. Bring it home. Bada bing,
Order
bada
canceled.
boom. 60K. That's how you do it. I knew degeneracy was the way. I knew degeneracy would pay today. But right there, 3K per account. Obviously, I have 20 accounts, so I just made $60,000. Mamma mia. That's how you do it. Folks, I'm telling you. Don't hate the player, hate the game. This is pure degeneracy through and through. And sometimes it's a lot better to be lucky than it is skillful. 0% skill, 100% unmitigated degenerate luck. And that's how you do it. That's how you make 60K. Bada bing, bada boom. And you guys thought I was crazy for going short. I told you guys not to be bullish. Literally before the market opened, I laid out all the levels. I explained it to you. I said, dude, serious resistance. You guys thought I was crazy. You have all these bulls in here who are crying. They're like, why didn't I just listen to Matt? I don't know. Why didn't you listen to Matt? That sounds like a personal problem of yours, but I should probably shut this down to stop trading. Well, there's literally no point for me to trade. I hit my max profit, self-imposed max profit, that is. All right, cancel all orders. All right. I just want to make sure I don't have any like random sitting orders. Let me just make sure my accounts are nice and clean. Pull working orders and exit positions. Pull all working orders. Yes. All right. So I believe I successfully did that. Orders. Cancel all orders. Okay, yeah, 60K. Obviously, I just did that on my Apex accounts. They are the partner of today's show. If you want to trade with someone else's money, the Apex is the place to do it. Apex is a SIM-funded company, as in You take a test. It's a sim prop firm. You take a test. You have to hit a certain profit target without having a certain drawdown. If you can hit that profit target before hitting the drawdown rule, you pass the test. You go from eval to performance. When you're on a performance account, which you know it's performance when it starts with a PA, that's what a performance account is. When you're now on a performance account, that's when you're trading, if you follow all the rules, and right here they have an FAQ, so I highly recommend you check it out. That's where if you trade well enough, you can actually start requesting money out. Year to date, Apex, I've gotten $200,000 in payouts from Apex year to date. Obviously, most of that was January and February. I'm not going to lie. Obviously, March was really rough for me. That's when I blew out my accounts when I was up over $1 million. And ever since then, I've been trying to rebuild it. But to me, I love these services. By no means saying it's easy, because trading in itself is difficult. So why would you expect normal trading to be difficult, but then like trading with someone else's situation or setup to be easy? It's still as difficult as normal trading is. I want to be very clear about that. But what I like about it is it helps you minimize your risk. When you're trading your own account, whether it's a stock account, options account, futures, crypto, you're theoretically risking at max all the money you put into that account. In this situation, you're only risking the fees that you pay to get to the performance account. So your risk is capped at whatever you choose to put on your credit card bill. So I find that right now to take the test, it's $33. Even people who are trading what would be self-identified as a small account, you're most likely risking more than $30 in a single trade. I mean, if you're trading any options, you're probably risking hundreds of dollars, if not thousands of dollars per one. So I like this because your risk is so minimal. Right now, the test is $33. And if you think about that in a trading perspective, any trade, you're probably most of you are going to be risking more than that $30. So I think that's a good way to think about it. But once again, to get that discount, generally the test is $167. That's the full fee or whatever you want to call it. But they always are generally running deals. Some are just better than others. And right now you could get 80% off if you use that code GOONIE, GOONIE. Will get you 80% off. It is pinned to the top of chat. It's in the description of the video. And as you can see, sometimes it's fun. Sometimes you can just make 60K in one day. If you're unprofitable, you should not be doing prop. I actually think that's the best way to learn how to be profitable, because if you're unprofitable trading your own account, you're risking more money. So what cap time? What's this cap time? Why did this guy spam cap time over and over again? What does that even mean? But anyway, I disagree with that. I think when you're learning how to become profitable, you're going to want to learn in such a way that you're minimizing your own risk, and the sim to funded prop industry is a good way to learn it. I view sim to funded as that nice in between. You don't have to risk your own full account, but it's also not paper trading where there's no risk, no reward. I think it's that good in between. So I think right now, given everything going on in the world of trading for retail traders, I think the perfect process is you start with paper trading and you just learn the mechanics. So you learn the things that you just don't even know you don't know. So you get the basics out of the way. And then when you're feeling comfortable, that's when you go to sim to funded. And then from there, you're using your sim to funded to prove to you if you can be profitable or not. And then if you do it well, you're going to get paid out from sim to funded. Then you use the money that you're getting paid out from sim to funded to fund your own account. And then you go from there. So I disagree with you in which one should be the order of it. But in my opinion, paper trading, you learn that's the training wheel phase. And then I would say there's no risk, there's no reward, but literally it's just you to learn. Then the next step in my mind would be sim to funded, and then success in sim to funded would kind of prove to you of okay, can you manage an actual account where you're risking all of your own capital? So your success in sim to funded, then the success is the literal payouts. So not only are you getting money to fund your own account, but then you're proving to yourself that you know how to trade. Do I keep paying $30 the following months even if I fail the test? If you keep the account live, but you could choose to cancel the account, but it would reset every month if you don't pass the test. But passing the test is the easy part. It's actually, fuck me. No. Oh, fuck. I forgot. I was trading on take profit accounts too. And they have a 50% consistency rule. So I had to hit 3K in profit. You made me think about it because I forgot that I was trading on these. And they have a 50% rule. Fuck. So that means I need to make 56K to now pass this test. Fuck, dude. Anyway, it's I don't think it's hard to pass the test. Like, generally, you just fuck, man. I should have taken these profits literally halfway. Instead, I should have stopped these at 1,500 because then I would have passed this. Now, because they have a 50% rule in their eval stage, no single day can be more than 50% of your total profit. Well, I just made all the profit in one day, which means now I need to double. Fuck me. That was a rookie mistake. That was a just lose the money on purpose real fast. Should I try to do that? Is that the real play? Ooh, this could be fun. Okay, let's see if the goal is to lose $1,500. That's the goal. Because then if I knock it down to 5,300, then I'm good to go. Okay, so, all right, new game. The name of this particular crazy game is that's a good suggestion. I'm attempting to lose $1,500. Attempting to lose, all right, 700. I just want to make sure I'm on the right account. 745. All right. So if I'm attempting to lose, the goal is to lose 1,500. I'll trade 5 contracts. So I need to lose, okay, 5 contracts. All right, so I just want to make sure I'm actually putting this. So the goal is to lose.
Order filled.
All right, so I just went long 5 contracts, and the goal is to lose 1,500. So I'm in at 88. Fuck. This is the dumbest shit. Like, dude, I can't. Fuck me, dude. This is, like, seriously, like, why can this never happen to me when I'm trying to make money? Like, oh my fucking God, dude. This is never. This is so stupid. That's fucking crazy.
Order submitted.
I need it down here. Fuck me, dude. This is uncanny. Uncanny. Like, it never, like, literally when your goal is to lose money, of course the market has to be like, yep, by the way, go fuck yourself. Average up. Should I average up, sell? I think you can only go to 6. So I think I was going to actually go to 10, but I don't think you can. I think you can only trade 6. So I'm pretty much effectively at suffering from success. I guess so. I need it all the way down here to bring these accounts down. I went long thinking that we were falling over here and we would just hit it, but instead we just fucking ripped. and it's still going. Fuck, dude. I'm like digging myself into the weirdest hole possible. It's up $30,000 extra dollars. And it's still going. Fuck, dude. Like, that's, I don't know, dude. It went $30,000 against me, and I was attempting to lose money. Fucking so silly. You're gonna have to make 30K to pass, or I could pray it comes down and I get knocked out. I just need it to come to here, and then I should be good. Only I can be such a fucking bad trader that I'm attempting to lose money, and then that's the time that it makes a huge amount of money. Like, this is so comical, so absurdly frustrating. Keep trying, like, dude. I fuck me, dude. And it's still, no, stop. Why can't this just, whoever suggested that I just lose the money, this is your fault. I don't even know where you are. I don't know who said it, but this is your fault. It was, I should have thought about this a little bit more. I should have thought about it a little bit more, but this is your fault. All right, I really need this to come back down. The only time I'm ever rooting for it to actually go red, and it just explodes. Just wait till 11:30. Why? What's that? 11:30. I don't know. I'm just gonna leave this here and pray at some point we get back down to this value. But knowing my luck, it's just gonna reverse and rip, and then these accounts are effectively gonna be like impossible to pass. So I need this to get rejected at the red to green move. I need the SPY to fall over, the Qs to fall over. Fuck, dude. And nope, it just keeps going. It's up 6K per account. Wild. Absolutely wild. Why can't I trade like this? It's just still going. Why can't I trade like this when I actually want the money? This is, dude, it's still fucking going. Insane. Dude. Who wasn't supposed to go like this? This was supposed to be an easy, like, hey, just lose a little bit of money. This is rapidly getting out of hand. It's still just going. Here's a look at the flow. Mag 7 started to pop right after I got into the trade. Right here, puke, puke, puke. Pop, kind of still drifting up. Looking at the S&P 500. Oh, it just took a hit. So maybe that'll cause it to turn. Basically, I'm hoping we get rejected here and it starts to fall back over. Because if we hold here and we go back up to the intraday high, I'm fucked. I'll never pass those accounts. I need to get rejected. Market gonna test 5,400 today now. Dude, that's how it feels. If I wasn't unlucky, I wouldn't have luck at all. That's just insane. The only time I've traded where I'm like, yeah, I need to lose money, and then it quickly becomes actually one of the best, most profitable trades. Like that is some fucking cosmic irony. Attempting to lose money to bring myself within consistent consistency, and then it just fucking rips. Like, that is... If you guys needed proof that the market makers are watching this show just fucking with me, I mean, look at it. I trade here. I go long because I'm like, no way is this the bottom. Like, it was literally a perfect bottom dip buy. A perfect catching the falling knife situation, which we all try to do and no one can pull it off. And then the time that I do that, assuming it's going to fail and I'm attempting to lose money, is the time that just... That's this entire situation that you're seeing right now is so representative of how trading has been going for me this entire month. Really, ever since the Rose Garden event with Trump, my trading has just been such dog shit. Such dog shit. And this is like fully representative of the entire situation. If you want to lose money, always let me trade for you. Well, that I thought I was skillful enough at losing money because I've been doing it very, very well lately. And then the one time where I'm like, hey, you've been losing money, just do that again. That's just... We're going to win so much, you're going to get tired of winning. Fuck, man. I don't know what to do. It's just, if this recaptures and starts to pop these accounts, I'll never get them past. I'll never. I very much need this to vomit back down to the like intraday low. I need a rejection. We got pretty much to the bottom of that transition zone, and then we're bouncing right back up to the close. So we were green, we tested green to red, we vomited in the red, quickly came back up, and now we're once again testing this red to green. We're just basically dancing around. 5 minute, 10 minute, 30 minute, 4 hour are all bearish. 5 minute, 10 minute, 30 minute, 4 hour are all bearish. In the Mag 7, we're basically delta puked, bounced, flat. Looking at the S&P 500, similar situation. Puked, bounced, effectively flat. If you close now, what would be the consequence of the accounts that you would have to do moving forward? So the consequence is that if I close now and I made $9,000 per account, I would have to have another trading day. Like basically, I would have to have a total of 18,000 because the rule on take profit, this is not the rule on Apex, but this is the rule on take profit, is to pass the eval, no individual day can account for more than 50% of your total profit. So if I make 9K in a day, that means my total profit would have to be 18K in total because no day can be that 50% rule. So basically, the more money I make now, it forces me to have to make more money later on just to pass the test. So that's why I'm trying to lose money, is because I'm already at the profit target. You only have to have 3K in profit, but because of the consistency rule, like I basically it would force me to have to not only trade well, but like very, very well and make that money. So I'm basically just trying to lose money after making it going, come on, fall. It's basically just to not violate their consistency rule. Just make 18K per tomorrow, you would think. All right, it's kind of coming back down. That's what I want. Come on, it broke the EMA. If it could take out 313 right here, I'm looking at this recent support, like 320 right here. Support, resistance, that's the breakout. I'm watching pretty much where it's dancing at right now. 320, if it snaps that, then I'm looking for the test at 300. Then I'll be back to break even at 87. And then from there, maybe, just maybe, I could go red enough to get these accounts to where I need them to be. Just maybe. Fucking the most shit fucking luck ever. Once you get to this, if it was a pro account, yeah, that'd be gnarly. Except I would never have the balls to just randomly go long 5 contracts and like in a downtrending market. Like inherently this trade was a stupid trade, which is why I never thought it would work. And then it worked amazingly. But I think it'll come back down. It does look like we're getting rejected at the closing value. The Qs didn't even get back up there, and the SPY appears to be getting rejected. NVIDIA doesn't look so hot. So maybe. Judge finds Google holds a legal online ad tech monopoly. Well, I think we all knew that. Anyway, if you want to trade and do some of the degenerate shit I'm doing, like I said, use that code GOONIE, GOONIE. Will get you 80% off on Apex right now. It is pinned to the top of chat. It's in the description of the video. Let it expire worthless. That's not how futures contracts work. This isn't options trading. This is futures trading. Futures don't expire worthless. The one time you don't follow your rules, I guess, in a weird way. Come on. It's fuck. Just fall. Just fall. Just like never before have I asked for the market gods to take money from me. And then the one time I need them to do it, they're like, surprise. Surprise, you're actually going to get a... This is just proof that the market just never wants to do what you want it to do. Like that, like making money, losing money, it doesn't matter. It just knows what you want. And then the market's like, nah, we're not going to give it to you. So you can't buy AMC even if you wanted because AMC has no future? Well, AMC, I don't know what you're getting at. Why would I buy AMC? How do futures work? It's just another market. The way there's the equities market, the options market, the crypto market, the futures market is its own independent market, and it works by just either buying or selling contracts. Like you're either going long or you're going short, and then obviously as the underlying value goes up or down, depending on which way you're playing the contract, you make or lose money. There is no I think when people hear futures contract, most likely they know about options contracts. There are some similarities, but not many. Like, for example, there's no theta decay or there's no Greek values. Like all that Greek stuff you have to consider when trading options does not exist in futures. The contracts do expire, they roll, but that part of it doesn't have an impact on the value of the contract. What has impact on the value is just does it go up or down. So it doesn't matter if you're closer or farther away from the expiration point. Volatility also doesn't change. So basically all those Greeks that you know from options trading do not come into play when you're trading futures. If you're in the US, depending where you are, they are taxed differently. They're actually taxed more favorably. So that's why futures trading is growing in popularity, just because people realize, well, hang on, I could trade a leveraged product. It's very leveraged, similar to options, just super leveraged. You could even see it here. This little movement up to here, I only have 5 of them and I'm up $4,000. So it's a highly levered product. There's no pattern day trading. A lot of the major index ones, they trade 23 hours out of the day. It's called the Globex session. So they trade from 6 p.m. the previous night to 5 p.m. the current day, and they only take off Saturdays. So they trade 23 hours out of the day. The index ones like ES is the contract name for the S&P 500. NQ is the contract for the NASDAQ. They're both very liquid, popular products. I'm trying to think of the other major things you need to know. So there's no theta. No, there's no Greek values at all. This is a linear product. Think about it like stock. The stock either goes up or down, and you don't have to worry about any of the Greeks. That's the same with futures. It's either just going up or down. That's it. Why not 24 hours at this point? I don't know. Go ask the futures market people why they don't give us that extra hour. How much buying power is needed to trade futures? There's what's referred to as micro contracts that you just don't need that much money. You could reasonably trade micro contracts with an account at a couple $1,000s in it. I think you having more money would be better because you have a bigger buffer, obviously. But you different contracts take a different amount of money. So you have to have a bigger account to be able to trade NQ than you do ES. And then those two are both going to be different than trading gold or oil. They all have different margin requirements. So to answer your question is like, you can get away with it with like, I don't know. It's kind of tough because it depends on what you're trading. But I should obviously let you guys know that there are. So what this is, the contract you see right here, this is the NASDAQ mini. But then you could trade a NASDAQ micro, which is the same thing, but a 10th of the size. So obviously 10 micros make up one mini. And to trade a mini on NQ with your own like funded account, I mean, you would need, I think the margin requirement's like close to 20K, and you'd probably want at least like 5x that. Maybe you need like $100,000 account to trade like one NQ. And then with a mini, it's a 10th of the size. So maybe like the rough math there would be like in the realm, especially if you want to like swing it overnight and whatnot. Maybe you want like a roughly, I mean, the math there would be about 10K. But once again, that's specific to the NASDAQ. Oil's different, gold's different. It's not like they cost the same. They don't have the same margin requirement. Which SPX can we use to trade future for SPY? I don't know what that means. SPX is the S&P 500. SPY is the ETF, the exchange traded fund. An ETF, it's on the, obviously it's on the equities market. That's created to track the SPX. And then ES is the futures contract, which is tracking the S&P 500. So you're talking about three different things there. SPX is the actual index. SPY is the ETF created to track it. And then ES is the futures contract created to track the SPX. So they're all going to be incredibly correlated. And then, like I said, with the NASDAQ, the way there's the minis and the micros, that's true also with ES. You could also trade the micros there as well, which would be a 10th of the size of the minis and a 10th of the cost. But I mean, with futures, like I think the key thing here is to understand that it's a completely different independent market. You have the equities market, you have the options market, you have the futures market, you have the bond market. Futures is its own market. And there's a lot of futures contracts for things that you see elsewhere. Obviously, there's futures contract for the overall market index. There's futures contracts on bonds and yields and volatility. So like the way you could trade VIX, or like the way you could trade volatility, you could also trade it on the options market. You could also trade it on the futures market. Like you can find exposure to that product within independent markets. How do you trade which expiration to trade? You just trade the front month. Like I said, you're trying to directly compare to options, and there's not that many similarities with options. People just trade the front month because the front month is the most active, the most liquid market. But once again, you don't have to worry about theta decay or vol or anything like that. It's a linear product. People trade the front month just because that's what most people are trading. But once again, all you care about is from the moment you go long or short, all you care about is it going up or down. You don't care how long it takes. There's no theta implications. You don't care about the volatility. There's no vega implications. There's no Greek values in the futures market. All you care about is from the moment you went long or short, did it go up or down? And most people just trade the front month contract, which is the current contract, just because that's what other people are trading. Closest month and 1 week before expiration move to the next month, pretty much. In the world of futures trading, it's referred to as the front month contract. Why are all prop firms only offering futures and options trading? That's not true. You can find a prop firm for anything. What is the difference for the Rhythmic plan and Trade-Evade on Apex? They're just different data providers. If you are on a PC, you could use the Rhythmic one and do that with Ninja. But if you're on a Mac, you have to use Trade-Evade. Just some of the software on the Rhythmic side is not available on Mac unless you use something like Parallels. If you want to check it on your phone, you should also use Trade-Evade. Once again, the Rhythmic side is just like if you're exclusively on a PC. So it's more of just like, what is your operating system is why, like, what matters. Dude, I've been trying forever to lose this money, and we're almost back to break even. For a second there, it was getting hairy. I was up like 7 to 8K. Come on. This is the first time I've ever been like, dude, I need to lose money. And this has been quite the battle. What trade copier do I use? I use the Apex trade copier. So what is the difference between trading straight stock and futures? Well, you get exposure to different things. There's not like, if you're trying to trade Apple, there's not really an Apple futures contract. So futures, it's not like they mirror everything that you see in the equities market. Futures are like, it's the S&P 500, it's the NASDAQ, but think it's more like also commodities. So it's oil, it's sugar, it's cocoa, it's coffee, it's like that type of stuff. So you're not going to be trading Tesla or Nvidia or MicroStrategy in the futures market. So that's a big difference. And then also in the futures market is highly levered. The stock market isn't. The stock market is like a dollar for a dollar or something like that, like a point for a point. Well, here you can see every single point that's moving right here. Like if we go from 93 to 94, that's a difference of $20 per contract. So they have a different leverage rate as well. Are futures similar to ETFs? Not at all. ETFs are just on the equity market. They're one-to-one. ETFs are literally just, they're like stock. And literally they're just a basket of stocks. That's what an ETF is. An exchange traded fund is literally a basket of stocks or other products, but generally it's just like if you look at SMH, that's an ETF, and what's in that basket is just a bunch of semiconductor stocks. 20 to 50x exposure, that's not the set rules. Once again, it depends on the contract. I'm pretty sure that losing on purpose is against Apex rules. It isn't. And on top of that, like, think about what you just said. Losing on purpose is, how can they ever prove if you're losing on purpose? That's just such a dumb comment. First of all, it's not a rule. If it was a rule, how could you ever enforce it? And third, I'm not even trading on Apex. I'm literally, these are take profit accounts. What an absolute silly thing to say. Like, that's just, Josh, come on. Let's just think a little bit. Let's just think a little bit before we say some absolutely fucking silly things. Why do you cap your profits on prop accounts? Because of the consistency rules. Which I feel like I've explained 18 times. And we're back at max profit again. Fuck me. Dude, I was so close to getting to break even. Fuck, what's going on? It just started rocketing at 11:05. This is getting ridiculous. No. What the fuck? No. Fuck. It was so close. And now it's up $60,000. Fuck. Will it let me trade again? Wait, I am long.
Order submitted.
No, I'm already at the max. Yeah, I can only go up to 6. Fuck. All right, I was trying to double down and buy another 10 to bring my average up and pray that we had some sort of pullback, but you can only have up to 6. Don't you wish there was a no consistency rule? Yeah, I do. Well, I would have never been in this position if there weren't. I only got into this trade to try to get back into compliance with the consistency rule. Get wrecked. Only losers make money. Yeah, well, you wanted to build a buffer. Yeah, not on these accounts. I wanted to build a buffer on the Apex accounts. On Take Profit, I need to get back into compliance with their consistency rule, which I got close. And then I didn't. Fuck. Maybe trading is not your game. I know. Let's have a spelling contest. Title this. Watch. Dude, I've been trying to lose. And it then inherently became one of the best trades. It's up $55,000. Oh, was there an announcement? What happened there? Might just be a random ass 11 a.m. pop change of hour trade. I'm looking for any news. Oh, someone just bought a bunch of 5,300 0 DTE calls. Yeah, the call volume spiked out of nowhere. Call volume spiked out of nowhere. So if those calls get dumped, we'll come right back down. But anyway, it's fun. I think it's a lower risk way to engage in the market. In fact, I know it's a lower risk way to engage in the market. So check it out. Use that code Goonie to save yourself 80%. We're back in the green territory, and I need this to get faded. But as I alluded to at the start of the show, this is a very, very big day for me because I am getting my hair cut. So it's effectively a national holiday, and I need to go do that. So I'll catch you guys on the flippity flip. Shout out to Apex. Check that out. Use that code Goonie. Remember, the market is closed tomorrow, and everyone enjoy your long weekend. I hope you guys have a lot of fun with your friends, family, loved ones. And if you are riding it solo, I hope you have fun with yourself. But everyone, be safe. Have a good time. We're getting a little bit of an extra long holiday or extra long weekend because of the holiday. So we will be posting content again on Sunday, just kind of an update video for the upcoming week. And then we'll be streaming once again on Monday. So like I said, I hope to see you there. Have a great weekend. Be safe. If not, have fun. And I hope you guys all make money. And I hope I'm able to lose the money that those accounts are up right now because it is not looking so good for your boy. So here's to hoping that you guys make a lot of money. And here's to hoping that my Take Profit accounts lose the money that I needed to lose. But this is just getting horribly comical. So anyway, that's where I'm at. I appreciate all the good vibes. Love you all. Have a good weekend. Peace.